Hey everybody, so first of all I just want to welcome you all to my new channel. So this channel is going to be different from my beauty channel, clearly, because I'm going to be talking about all the ratchet reality TV shows. I'm giving you my recaps and my thoughts on the shows. So I'm going to start off today, episode 1 of my show. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I have a lash in my eye. It's going to drive me crazy. So if you see me poking, that's what I'm poking at this whole video. Anyway, and another thing before I get started, if you like this look, make sure you go check out my beauty channel, Be Slow Styling. I'll leave a link to that up here and in the description down below. So make sure y'all go and check that out. But as the title suggested, today I'm going to be giving you my thoughts and reviews on, let's see, Teen Mom 2, Season 8, Episode 26. First of all, I'm like, Episode 26. You know how Teen Mom does like that. It cut the seasons in half and then pick it back up. So this really should be like a whole nother season. But anyway, okay. I'm going to give you my rundown, my thoughts on everybody. So let's start with Leah. She's easy. First of all, I want to give Leah props for turning her life around. You know, there was some seasons ago where it was clear that she was using drugs as well as, probably suffering through some depression. I mean, she had gone through her second divorce. She's a single mother of 3 children, one of them with special needs. So I understand that it probably was an extremely tough time in her life. But big props to, 2-3 claps to Leah for turning her life around and really just being a greater example for her daughters now, and being a good mom. I think she's a good mom. I think she's really trying to teach her daughters and to, not baby them too much, because sometimes, people super baby. I think she's really trying to teach them and guide them early. So anywho, about last night's episode. Y'all, I'm sorry. This is really driving me crazy. Okay, but anyway, about last night's episode, it really wasn't much to talk about. Leah, they found the stray dog, took it in, housed it, was pregnant, had 7 puppies, and now they're rehousing the puppies, which was really cute when they met the family and was giving the puppy, and little Addie was like, tell them to send me a picture. I thought that was so cute and so sweet. So I love that scene. As far as anything, that was really about all that you could say about Leah. Her sister, I believe it was, asked her if she would, if she was thinking about getting back with Jeremy, and in my opinion, just my humble opinion, I would not. I would leave it as it is. Y'all are finally in a working co-parenting relationship. If I were her, I would just leave it that way. From what we've seen of her from 16 and pregnant all the way up to Teen Mom 2, it doesn't seem like this is her first time being single and being alone, and I think that's a good thing. I think we all need to have that time in our life where we are just single and we are learning to love ourselves, especially with her being a mother of 3 girls. It's best for her to have herself together before jumping into a relationship or back into a relationship with Jeremy. And as far as that goes, I think she has it right. She said, we need to do some family things, and I would leave it at that. Just make sure that you all can be amicable in front of your daughter, so go on some play dates and that kind of thing, and give that some time first before you even think about jumping back into a relationship. Okay, so that's it for her. Let's go on to Chelsea. No secret to anyone that knows me, Chelsea is my favorite Teen Mom 2 mom. I have my favorite for Teen Mom 1, but Teen Mom 2, Chelsea is my absolute favorite. I adore her and Cole. I think they are just so cute together. I like the fact that she, like I was saying about Leah, she took time to be by herself and to just worry about being a mother and, not jumping into, a new relationship. And then when she did find her relationship, Cole seems to be an amazing guy. He seems to be a super nice and sweet to her, as well as he clearly truly loves their daughter and their now son. I was super happy to see that they were pregnant. I'm all about married couples having children that they can afford, and clearly she has been getting this Teen Mom MTV check for 8 seasons, 9 seasons if you include 16 and pregnant. So hey, more power to you, boo. Bust them out. I ain't mad at you. So that's really all you can say about them. As far as her baby's father, always wanted to be off of child support. I mean, he's out here running around doing things, clearly on drugs. I mean, his parents could deny it and things of that nature, but it's apparent that he was on a decline maybe 2 seasons ago. Before that last baby, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry, y'all. Hold on. Before that last baby he had, that everything ended up falling apart anyway, but it was at that time that you could kind of see that he was starting to go down the wrong path. So I just, I hope that he gets his life together and gets back into his daughter's life consistently. But even if he doesn't, she's lucky to have a new father figure in Cole. Moving on to Janelle. Oh, before I talk about Janelle, that brings me to a point too about Cole. So it's clear Cole has been on the show now for like, what, 2 seasons, 3 seasons, whatever. It's clear that he's genuinely a nice guy. Like, if he was putting on an act, we would have seen it. Like, you would have been able to see through it by now. The cameras have been going and rolling, and he seems to be genuine. And he's not phony. He's not putting on an act. He's not just trying to, get her and have her and then switch up like that. That's what brings me to Janelle, because David, that's a psycho there. I'm sorry. And when he first got introduced, when Janelle first introduced us to him, I didn't have a real opinion about him. I wasn't for him. I wasn't against him. He seemed to be, of the guys that Janelle dates, he seemed to be the most normal at first. As the seasons have gone on, it is clear that he is controlling. He is, I'm not going to say he's abusive, because that's a big thing to say. However, I will say it is clear that he has very violent tendencies. Even with what's the little boy, Kaiser. Even with Kaiser, he just, sometimes it can be really, really rough with him, and not necessarily physically, even though we have seen him snatch him a time or two, but just verbally, just the way he interacts with Kaiser is kind of rough. And so I think that's why viewers have concerns and things like that. Now, as far as Janelle has come a long way. Janelle has come a long way since, having a fit over not going to see Kesha and that kind of thing. So, I used to really not like Janelle. Now my feelings about her are very, very torn, because she has grown. She has matured. However, I think that she's another that jumps from one relationship to the next relationship. And I commend the fact that she's ride or die for her husband, but David's off. He's off. For instance, last night when they had the sheriff come over and everything. Okay, so the sheriff comes over and he's doing a wellness check, and of course we all assume Nathan, or Nathan's mother or someone from that side called the sheriff and everything. But all you have to do is say, hi, yes, one, our kids are at school, so I don't know why you're here, and 2, we've been getting these complaints and they have no merit. We've been investigated. Speak to them with some sense. The sheriff is literally just doing his job. Meanwhile, David is, slamming doors and going on and carrying on. And when I see Nathan, like all of that is doing nothing but further adding to the case for the people calling you know, the sheriff or CPS or whomever against you. So I did like how Janelle went back and actually spoke to the sheriff. But then you see David got mad about that. Why are you answering questions? And you can't talk to a sheriff. Do you have something to hide? Is there like, because if I'm not doing anything wrong and I have absolutely nothing to hide, and the sheriff comes to me asking me, I mean, it's nothing. Like, it's nothing. We don't have any problems here, so I have no problem letting you know that we have no problem here. I really do hope that he can get some anger management. Even in the reunion of the last season, or the half point of the last season, or however MTV does it, when Dr. Drew was trying to talk with them, you know, Dr. Drew, sometimes he don't get at it like I be wanting him to get at it, because he tried, and then David shut the whole thing down. They left the set. It just seems like a very controlling type of atmosphere. And while we are on the subject of Janelle, she needs to get David and his temper together, because David's finna make her lose her check. Okay? Clearly MTV's talking about you first of all, you cannot go online and make those type of disparaging comments about the LGBTQIA+ community. Like, you just can't. You cannot. Especially when you are in the entertainment business, or movies and things of that nature, TV, things of that nature. You just cannot do that. And he's so quick to holler about how many followers his wife has, but you're gonna do something like that you messing up the bag, boo. Like, really. So then they go and talk about go talk to Barbara. First of all, I used to really like Barbara. I used to think Barbara was just hilarious. Now, I mean, Janelle didn't get to act in the way she acted by herself. I mean, she had some type of influence, and her mother clearly was one of those influences. Also, her disdain and dislike for David is messing up her relationship, her relationship with her daughter, her relationship with her grandson and his mother. So she needs to be the bigger person. She is the biggest adult in this entire situation. She needs to suck it up, and that way they can actually have a relationship, because when it all is said and done, and when things hit the fan, you need your mother. Okay. And as far as the preview that they show for next week, with Jace calling his parents a piece of shit, that's what this 7-year-old boy says about his mom and David. He didn't get that by himself. He made that up out the sky. He's heard that so many times from Barbara, that you have this child thinking it's actually okay to call his mom a piece of shit. That's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. And the way that poor boy is always split between Barbara and Janelle, he just wants to pacify them both. So when he's with one, he can't stand the other. When he's with the other, he can't stand the one. And it's really sad. And all the therapy that they're putting this child in, I don't think they're even listening to the reports of the therapist with Jace in mind. They're thinking about what the therapist says as it pertains to them, and that's going to do nothing but further confuse and damage this young boy who thinks it's all right to call his mother a piece of shit. And on that, y'all will hear more about it next week when I get the full context. But when I saw that, I'm like, he ain't did nothing but repeated what Barbara said. Because she had just said it like 2 minutes before that. He ain't did nothing but repeat what Barbara has been saying since he was a baby. Alright. Off of that. Now we're going to move on to Kaylin. And if you talk about Kaylin, I mean, I guess you have to talk about Brianna, because Brianna's only storyline is Kaylin and Javi. So why is she here? But okay. So as far as Kaylin goes, out of the Teen Mom 2 franchise, ever since there's been a Teen Mom 2 franchise, Kaylin has been my least favorite. Just hands down my least favorite. I thought she's always had an extremely nasty attitude. I thought she was always extremely hard to deal with. There was a short stint in there when her and Javi first got together that I didn't mind her. I was starting to come around for her, and then everything went down with Javi, and then she was back on my shit list. Just real life. So let's get to it. Her and Joe going to court. Clearly court wasn't needed. But with Kaylin, you're starting to see, you don't know who you're going to get. You might get the Kaylin that will sit and discuss something like an adult, or you might get the person who just wants what she wants, how I want it. I'm going to do what I want to do. I've been grown all da-da-da-da. I ain't had a mama, I ain't had a daddy, da-da. You know what I'm saying? And you can't talk to that person over there. So I understand why Joe went to, try to get things done with the court. And mind you, I love Joe. I have loved Joe since 16 and pregnant. He has done nothing but try to be in his son's life and be the best father that he could be. He moved his own fiance and baby all the way to, was it Delaware, just to be there for his son. So I Joe gets 10 claps for me. Like he's a great dad, and he has finally gotten to a place where he knows how to deal with Kel and co-parent with her. So I just pray that they stay in a good place, because you don't want to deal with her when you're not. Which takes us to Javi. Of course, in the beginning, I liked Javi. I thought Javi was cool. As things went on, he had some red flags on him. And Brianna and Brianna's mom are starting to see some of Javi's red flags right now. As far as Kaylin and Javi co-parenting, she's just so nasty to him. Like, she's so nasty to him. Like, I'm just not. I don't understand. So I'll hope for Lincoln's sake and for Isaac's sake, because Javi has been just as much of a father to Isaac as Joe has been. So I hope that they could get on the same page. And I don't side with Javi at all, because around the end of their relationship, he was clearly acting a plum fool. But I can understand, being a military spouse, I can understand the strain deployment has on a relationship, number one. Then to find out that your wife, who y'all had just gone through a miscarriage with, was trying to work on your relationship, you leave, and during that you find out that she is cheating on you, and then next thing you know, you come home, you're kicked out, she's pregnant. That's just a lot to process for anyone, but especially if you just come home from a deployment. So I completely empathize with Javi, although I do not condone his behavior in their splitting up. Then him going to be with Brianna, that was nothing. Sorry, that was to piss Kaylin off. Point blank, period. There was nothing else about that. That was strictly trying to piss Kaylin off. Let's be real about it. Like, you wouldn't even, like, just, why would, of all the billions of women in the world, you're going to choose your ex-wife's essentially co-worker to start dating? And then this whole thing where he gets a ring and is talking about proposing because he's going on deployment. Again, I'm a military spouse. I understand that whole deployment, get married, how that kind of goes hand in hand. You know, you want that security of someone being home. I mean, you get paid more when you are married. You know, just, I get it. I didn't get married for that reason, but I mean, I've seen it happen. But when you realize you're not getting deployed, why continue on with that? And just like your sister said, you're moving too fast. You don't know this girl has a 3-month-old baby with a whole nother man. Your ex-wife, who was still your wife when she was pregnant, has a 3-month-old baby with a whole nother man. Like, how about, again, same thing I said about Leah and Janelle, how about you just take some time for yourself? Work on you. You know, figure out what it is about you that you could improve. You know, because there are some things, Javi. There are clearly some things that you could improve. You know, I'm just going to throw that out there. As far as Brianna goes, one, it's trifling. It was trifling for you to start talking to him to begin with. It was trifling. Two, the way you let your sister and your mother and your friends or whomever else gas you up to the point where you were going at Kaylin like that. And I am not Kaylin's fan. I want to make that clear. But the way that you let everybody else get in your ear and gas you up to go at her and to fuss and cuss and carrying on with her, I don't respect that. I don't respect that. You didn't feel that way. Like, let's go back to the reunion real quick. When Brittany comes in and she's a yin because she's a pop offer. And yin. And so now you think you have to go back and try to prove yourself and say something and da-da-da and roll your neck and pop your lips and pop your gums and all that stuff. Like, you're not that person. So don't try to be that person because everybody else is gassing you up to be that person. Number 3, I would really just be focusing on my baby and my other child. You have one child who literally has said that she's feeling neglected. I mean, that's what she said. She said that she feels like you care more about your new baby than you do her. And instead of reinforcing, you know, your bond with her as your firstborn and the big sister, you take weekends to go off to Delaware. And you mad because your mama's mad. I'm not. I mean, why are you on the show? I'm sorry. Like, what is your story? You're on the show to keep Javi on the show. That's what it seems like. And because Javi clearly wants to stay on the show. I don't know if Javi gets a check from the show, but he's trying to keep one if he does have one. I don't get why you were added to the franchise at all, honestly. You don't bring anything to the show. And yeah, I don't think that you have your priorities together. It just doesn't seem that way. At least that's how MT. I don't know her from The Man in the Moon, but I'm seeing dating this guy who's still going through a divorce or just finished a divorce. You're a new mother, but you're running off to hang out with him on the weekends. You're running to Miami to go get your butt done. Like, it just don't seem like you have valid priorities. Because to me, if I'm, you know, a single mother with these 2 kids, my priority, instead of running to go get my body done, would be to get my own apartment. I mean, it could still be an apartment in the same building as your mom, just so you could have that help, but I would want my own apartment. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe that's just me. Anyway, so that's gonna be all for Teen Mom 2. I kind of gave you a little bit more than just episode 20 whatever, but you know, this is my first time doing this, so I wanted to get all my feelings out about Teen Mom 2. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think about these episodes. Tell me what y'all think about the girls and your opinions on what's going on with them. And I will be back next week to give y'all more of my opinion. Also, again, if you like my makeup, you can always check out my beauty channel, B Stokes Styling. Again, I'm leaving that around here somewhere for y'all to view. And I'll see y'all next week. I'll see y'all next week. Peace.